Welcome to Dynamo Dynamics, winning goals to digital dominance, where we talk about football, technology, the global game, and the intersection of our love for all things technology and sports. So, I'm your host, Danny Perry, and with me as always is my guy, Kai Peterson, and we are here, Kai, to talk about the last match of the regular season of the 2024 MLS season. We made it through, man. Yeah. Did you think we'd get there when we started this earlier this year?
Yeah, I think so now. we really grew to find some love for the MLS, so it honestly became easy.
It did. And 34 matches in, we covered every match. In sometimes we had to cover multiples, but 34 matches, multiple cup games, and dealing with the international breaks as well. And I think, to your point, MLS is a pretty good game. Yeah. Once we were kind of not super fans, paying more attention to the European leagues early on. But as this thing went along, it's like, wow, this is pretty high drama. The stakes are big. The quality on the field is good stuff.
Yeah, and it ended in perfect fashion. I mean, it was a late game winner, some late game drama. I mean, we went up
heroics.
Yeah, we went up in the 43rd or 44th
minute. Oh man,
scrappy goal right there.
I gotta say, we predicted this match. I think you said 2-1 to the Dynamo, which you were absolutely correct, and you called one of the goal scorers correct. But I was paying attention to the game, and my prediction was 1-0 to the Dynamo. Ponce would score the goal in first half stoppage time, and we would go on to win 1-0. Well, Ponce scored the goal. It was in basically the 45th minute, so 1 minute away from stoppage time, and it carried all the way through until 90 plus 6. Yeah. Almost had it. What happened in stoppage time?
Well,
second half stoppage time.
The whole game, overall, the whole game was a pretty scrappy game. Very competitive. We kind of missed that last week where we thought LA Galaxy was just going to throw in their second team in and just kind of coast, but they had something to win for because
they did. We did miss that.
We overlooked that, and they actually fell to second in the table now. LAFC is on top, so they did have something to fight for. I mean, they started Marco Royce. They started all their typical starters that are healthy, and close game. I think it was 53-47% possession, so close there. Shots were close.
On target, passing ratios, fouls. Almost everything was pretty even.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that's great for us to beat the number 2 team. Well, they were the number 1 team, but take them down going into the playoffs, so that's great. And then going into the end of the game, they got a penalty, and
at 90. Plus 6.
I think the penalty happened. There was only 7 minutes of stoppage time, and the penalty, I want to say it happened like the 92nd minute, 93rd, and then they took the penalty in the 96th. So they had got it reviewed, VAR, made sure everything was good, and then once they scored that, I think everyone thought we're ending with a draw. That's the end of the season, but they gave us additional stoppage time,
thankfully, and so at 90 plus 11, basically at the death.
Yeah, it was probably our last attack.
Sequence. That was the build-up play was excellent. The cross in from Dorsey was spectacular, and Steris on the end. He got his head on the end of it, man. That was.
I think that might have been the best cross that Dorsey's had all season.
I would think so, and it was definitely the most impactful one. There's no doubt about that. That was spectacular.
Because that got us in that 5th place spot like we wanted, and we aren't playing Real Salt Lake like we did, but...
Well, that means we have the Seattle Sounders then, correct?
And
that's a tough one. That's a tough one because we've played them twice this season. We lost and we drew. But you were talking earlier about the last 5 dating back into last season, and we haven't beat these guys in the last 5 matches that we've played.
I want to say they beat us in 4 of the 5, and we drew 1. So
not exactly the matchup we were looking for. We had more confidence. I had more confidence with Real Salt Lake, and Seattle also has like maybe the best home field advantage in the league. They're one of the best teams in the league as far as crowd support. So now heading into the playoffs where it's a best of 3 in the opening round, we have to go to Seattle and win a game no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for us to win the first game, give us confidence coming home, but it's going to be a tough game. I think it'll be really scrappy. But the good thing is that we could end in a draw and it can go to penalties. So if it goes to PKs,
anything can happen.
Yeah.
Set the goalkeeper up first.
No. But it will be a really tough matchup. Like we said, the past 5, I mean, we've got new players since I think one of the games was even from 2022, but it's just like, I don't know if the coaching has changed that much. Yeah. So we weren't too big of fans in 2022 and 2023 as we were this year, but it's a game to keep an eye on for sure.
It most definitely is. So, I mean, how do you, what do you think? Should we predict the series or predict it game by game?
I think game by game.
Game by game.
I think really, depending on the first game, will really dictate how we'll predict the second game and the third, if needed.
They're sitting one spot ahead of us in the table, correct?
Yeah.
And, I don't know. You know what? I'm going 1-0 Dynamo.
First game?
I'm going 1-0 Dynamo. We're going to win it in Seattle and put all the pressure on them coming home.
I think I'm going to go 1-1, and it's going to go to penalties.
Okay. All right, there you go.
And Dynamo will win in penalties.
No faith at all.
Dynamo will win in penalties. Hey.
Oh, there's the faith.
We're going to a tough crowd, tough stadium to play in. It
is.
And I bet it'll be a sold-out game.
But you know, one of the things that surprised me, I did not expect Herrera and Bassi to play as much as they did in this game, coming off injury the way they did. But they were both in from the start, right?
Yeah.
And so that seems at least will be full strength.
Yeah.
Or as full strength as you can get at this time of the season.
They have another week to prepare and get healthier, so they'll be ready to go.
Playoffs. This is going to be awesome. So this is our first experience paying a lot of attention to a team in the MLS playoffs, and it's going to be the Houston Dynamo, and we are really looking forward to seeing how it unfolds.
Yeah, and the bracket looks good. I actually think there's a lot of good games. I think there might be a 7-2 upset.
Ooh.
I think I said that last week.
Who do you think will win the play-in games?
Oh, who's that? Is it Vancouver?
Just in case we need to know, we've got Vancouver versus Portland on one side and Montreal versus Atlanta.
I'd say give me Atlanta and give me Vancouver. I think both.
Strangely, I think I'm going to go with the exact same. I'm not copying him, but that seems logical.
Yeah, but I was looking at the bracket, and since LA Galaxy dropped to second, now they have to play Colorado.
And we know how that can go.
And I think Colorado, I have faith in Colorado to upset them.
They had a good run in the Leagues Cup earlier, and they play dangerous every time. They're a potentially very surprising team.
Yeah.
So that's the upset. That's the upset prediction.
That's the one from the West that I'm calling.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna have to keep an eye on that one. Yeah, I'm not making any of those calls. I'm just looking at the Dynamo. Well, it looks pretty good. Like I said, from an injury perspective, we're stronger than we were. These matches will be coming up
tomorrow.
Oh my God, it's happening fast. And those are the playing games are tomorrow.
Playing
and then
games,
on the weekend we
have one tomorrow. I think Vancouver's tomorrow, and then Wednesday is Atlanta. So
perfect. What do y'all think? Are you going to root for the Dynamo? Who's going to win the MLS Cup this year? Let us know. Talk to us in the comments. Hit us up on all of our socials. But what else has been going on? I think red cards. Should we talk red cards?
We can talk VAR a little bit. What happened in the Dynamo game? LA Galaxy had a really nice goal, and it was disallowed due to a foul. VAR disallowed it, and honestly, I kind of felt bad for the goal scorer for LA Galaxy. It was a beautiful goal.
It really was. Well, did you think it was a bad call?
I mean, it really didn't affect the play, in my opinion, not too much. Very slightly, you know, because it was off the ball. It wasn't anything too crucial, but I guess you should get penalized for doing something off the ball that could, you never know what can happen. But I mean, we've seen a lot of VAR calls lately that
are infuriating.
Yeah, and there needs to be a better standard for it across every call. It can't be wishy-washy, like.
Well, you know, like in the NFL, it's like clear and indisputable evidence that the referee's call on the field should be overturned, and I just don't think that's what's going on in VAR. The ref makes a call, and he's not even confident in the call to begin with, and then it goes to VAR, and it can show evidence to support.
It's a coin flip at that point.
Absolutely.
I was telling you earlier about Manchester City. They won in stoppage time, and once the goal was disallowed, went to VAR, and they allowed it, and people were outraged because they said, you know, it should have been a goal to begin with, but why is VAR? It's just flipping back and forth. There's no set precedent that's being followed.
100%, and clarification on what are the rules. I mean, what exactly are the rules? In the Arsenal match this weekend, which is the one that has me so upset, is there was a red card on a clear breakaway goal, allegedly. But the ball was 45 yards up the pitch. It was headed over the player's head there, and the Arsenal defender. It was definitely a foul.
Yeah.
But was it a breakaway goal? That's the whole question. And there's no guarantee that he would have caught up with the ball. 2, that the defender would have been out of position once he caught up with the ball. And so how is that a clear breakaway threat? Half the way up the pitch.
Yeah.
It made no sense. But the initial call was yellow. VAR turned it to red. And that affected the whole match.
I agree with the yellow there. I mean, clear as day, foul.
It was definitely a yellow.
But going to VAR and it changed the whole dynamic of the game.
It did.
And it also is going to change the dynamic of the league.
Of the season.
Because that's a team that Arsenal should be taking points to at
exactly.
least.
Should have got a result at minimum.
Yeah.
But
it happens.
All right. I'll temper my anger.
On the bright side, y'all have Champions League this week, and y'all should take care of business.
Shakhtar Donetsk. We shall see how they do. So it's good to have Champions League back. And who's Bayern had this week?
Oh, we got one I love. We got Barcelona.
Ooh.
And we are known for the Barcelona killers, so I'm excited.
In Champions League especially, you've got a pretty good record there, but that
we're playing a Hansi Flick, an old Bayern manager, so it's a crazy year this year already for Champions League. Anything can happen.
Yeah, with the changes all around.
I'm hoping for points. Really hoping for a win, but points I'm fine with. Against Barcelona, it's good with me.
Yeah, at this stage, I think every team just needs a result. It's like I think there's a lot of playing for draws or not to lose, definitely not to lose with the new format. And so I agree with you. I think for my rooting perspective with Arsenal, we just need points. A win would be better, but don't go home with 0.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that's it for us right now. We have we definitely want to hear from you.
Yeah. Let us know your thoughts about the upcoming games. Let us know your MLS team, who you're supporting in this MLS playoffs, and give us a comment, like, and follow us, and we'll be back next week to let you know about the Dynamo's win, hopefully.
There you go.
We'll win.
That 1-0 win, minimum. 1-0 win. All right, thanks, folks. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Dynamo Dynamics, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon. Actually, sooner, in the comments, on the socials, and we'll definitely see you again here next week.